Hello, hello. If you are here for a virtual campus visit of UC Berkeley, then you are in the right space. I'm really excited to welcome you all to this virtual space of touring UC Berkeley. We have so much in store for you today. So as you guys come on into the Zoom room, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Izzy. I'm a fourth year studying media studies with a minor in Korean and journalism, and I will be your moderator for today. As we move on to the next slide, I'm really excited to get to know y'all a little bit more. So our next slide is going to pop up and a poll will pop up as well. And it's answering what type of visitor are you? Are you a high school student? Are you a middle school student starting early? The poll will pop up very shortly. There it is. Are you a high school student starting looking into colleges, middle school student? Are you a counselor, school teacher, learning more about schools for your students? Definitely interact with the poll that's on your screen. We have about 37% participation. We're going to keep it up a little bit more so we can get some more answers. But right now, it's looking like majority of you all are high school students or family members. We're keeping it up for a couple more seconds. Go ahead and answer that poll. All righty, we can go ahead and end it now. So it looks like a majority of us today are high school students and family members. If you didn't get to answer the poll and you're not a high school student or family member, you are very much still welcome to enjoy this tour. And again, we have so much in store for you today. So as we move on to our next slide, what is in store for you, right? So we have a 45-minute presentation that our two amazing tour guides are going to host for you very shortly. But during this presentation, we highly encourage you to ask questions in the Q&A chat. So at the our Q&A feature, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a Q&A button, and that is where you can ask any and all questions. We have many tour guides on the back end that are really excited to answer your questions. We also have many interactive polls. So like you saw, we just did one. We have two more coming up. So make sure you keep paying attention so we can get to know a little more about you throughout our tour today. And then all of our virtual visit recordings are available on our website and our YouTube, which is Visit UC Berkeley. But if you don't remember it now, at the very end of our tour, I'll remind you again where to find the recordings for today. Now, we also, in this presentation, we're going over campus overview. So that really means student perspectives. In this presentation, there will be no admissions or financial aid info provided. That is a separate admissions presentation, which I'll have again a QR code link at the end of today's presentation for you. And lastly, our tour is 45 minutes, but you have us for an hour. So that means that the last 15 minutes of our tour today will end with a Q&A session. So we'll answer some questions live and get some more perspective from our tour guides as well. And with that being said, so excited for this tour, and I'm going to pass it over to our amazing tour guides to introduce themselves. Have fun, y'all.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Joanna, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm originally from Beijing, China. I'm a rising second year class of 2029, and my majors are cognitive science and economics, and I'm also minoring in health and wellness. So outside of those classes, I'm on the Cal Artistic Swimming team. So before coming to Berkeley, I actually trained in Beijing for more than 10 years. So athletics has been a huge part of my life on top of school. I'm also involved with Her Campus at Berkeley, which is an online media platform for college women to share everything through writing and videos. I'm also part of the Cognitive Science Student Association as well. And that's a little about me. And you'll definitely know more about me through this virtual tour. And I'm so excited to start introducing our school to you all. And now I'll be passing on to our amazing tour guide, Sebastian.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Sebastian. My pronouns are he, him. I am originally from Pleasant Hill, California, which is in the East Bay, so pretty close to Berkeley. I am currently going into my second year, so I just finished my first year here as a freshman. I am currently majoring in psychology and theater and performance studies. And when I am not doing this job or my academics, I am usually getting involved in performances on campus. So things like our theater, dance, and performance studies official performances, that's our department performances, as well as a club called Bear Stage Productions, which does a lot of fun musicals and such. I love to get involved with them as well. But that is enough about me. We're going to go ahead and start our tour as a general overview, and I will pass it on back to Joanne to do so.
All right, so here's the agenda for today. So this is going to be an overview of the university through our student-owned perspective as a student and as a student ambassador. So we'll cover history and culture, academics, housing and dining, health and safety, student resources, student life, athletics, and also libraries and research. All right, so the photo you've seen here is shooting by through the West Crescent entrance, which is our main entrance facing downtown Berkeley.
All right, very good introduction, Joanna. We're going to go ahead and get started with our general campus history. So, we were founded in 1868 as the original University of California. If you don't know, the UC system or the University of California system comprises many schools like UCLA, UC Santa Barbara, but we are the original, which is why you might see us referred to as Cal or just Berkeley to differentiate us from the other UCs. We are the Golden Bears, that is our mascot, and our official mascot, Oski, is right there in that picture. You can see him doing that little pose right there. He's super fun. I recommend saying hi to him if you see him on campus. Our student body comprises of 33,122 undergraduates and 13,029 graduate students as of the fall of 2025, so about 46,000 students in total. And we also have various campus landmarks. So you can see right over there the Campanile, that is our historic clock and bell tower. It is the second tallest freestanding clock and bell tower in the entire world at 307 feet or 93.5 meters for anyone using the metric system. You might also see at the bottom there, you can see South Hall. That is going to be the oldest building on campus. It was built in 1873, and it is one of two original buildings on campus, the other one being North Hall, which is unfortunately no longer on our campus. And then, of course, we have Sather Gate, which is often seen as the face of campus. You might see it on some promotional material. You might also recognize it if you've ever seen Monsters University. They did design the gate of Monsters University after our own Sather Gate. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back on to Joanna to talk a little bit more about campus culture.
All right, so now we're gonna to start with campus culture. And honestly, this is one of the best things to know about Berkeley. We're a university of change makers. So being the first UC campus, we have a long legacy of activism and free speech. So the free speech movement happened right here in the late 1960s, led by student Mario Savio alongside fellow student activists. That movement changed the way college students across the country could speak freely on campus. And that spirit is still very much alive today. But now you can have the choice with everything you do. You will never be forced to participate in or support anything you don't stand for. We're also huge on entrepreneurship. Berkeley students have founded a ton of startups, and there is constant research and innovation happening across departments. On the community side, we've got serious school spirit. Our rally committee runs events on Sproul Plaza and at football and basketball games that even shoot a cannon after every touchdown at home football games. They also keep the acts that only will be presented to the public during our big game week, which is a football game play annually with Stanford University. So personally, coming from Beijing, I was nervous about starting somewhere so far from home and building a whole new community from scratch. But what struck me almost immediately was how welcoming people are here at UC Berkeley. Between different clubs, enrollments, associations, I found my people fast, and Berkeley is very diverse, collaborative, and genuinely inviting to new folks. So even when you're coming from across the world, so I think it's a great place for everyone to thrive. All right, so now we'll start talking about our academics, and I'll be passing back to Sebastian.
Wonderful story, Joanna. We here at UC Berkeley have six undergraduate colleges. For those of you who are unaware, bigger universities like ours tend to be broken into smaller colleges, both at an undergraduate or graduate level. We're going to be talking about our six undergraduate colleges in depth today, those six being the College of Letters and Science, the Rausser College of Natural Resources, the College of Environmental Design, the College of Chemistry, the College of Engineering, and the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society. We also do have undergraduate majors offered by our Haas School of Business and our School of Education, both of which are graduate schools, but you can still work with them as an undergraduate and get your major, which we'll talk about a little bit later. You might see on the screen some photos of our discussion sections and from the College of Environmental Design library and also the art practice building. Those are just some of our majors and some of our buildings on campus that we're going to go into a little bit more, starting with our next slide.
All right, so we'll start with the first undergraduate college, which is the College of Letter and Science, and it is also our largest college. About three out of every four undergrads are here, with more than 65 majors, including economics, molecular and cell biology, also called MCB, political science, sociology, applied mathematics, cognitive science, legal study, English, and more. There's college level advising for everyone, plus major specific advisors. Dwinell Hall is the main building and also houses theater, dance, and performance studies, foreign languages, and art history. And on the slides on the bottom right corner it's the picture of our Dwinell Hall. Also in LNS, students are required to take 7 course breaths to provide a rich and varied educational experience for everyone outside of their major. These breadth courses are in the following areas, for example, like arts and literature, biological science, historical studies, and so on. So, which means for students to obtain a degree, they have to take both their major requirement class and all 7 breadth course classes.
All right, wonderful. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to our Rouser College of Natural Resources. This is actually one of our founding colleges. It is originally the College of Agriculture. It is now our College of Natural Resources. There are 9 majors total, some of them including molecular environmental biology, society and the environment, environmental economics and policy, and conservation and resource studies, but even things like genetics and plant biology. So if you're looking to get into a life science or maybe go pre-med, you might also be in the Rouser College of Natural Resources. You'll see right here on our screen that we have an image of the Strawberry Creek restoration, which is when we as students were restoring Strawberry Creek, which is a creek that runs all the way through campus. There's also a bunch of research that happens at Rouser, which is one very cool part of being a student there is engaging in the research and going to the different places, engaging with all the natural resources. We also just have other images, for example, of the Li Ka-shing Center, which is one of our many Rouser College of Natural Resources buildings that you'll be taking classes in if you are a student in this college. Next up, I'm going to pass it on to Joanna to talk about our College of Environmental Design.
All right, thank you, Sebastian. So now we'll be starting talking about the College of Environmental Design. So the college now has roughly 650 undergraduate students studying in 4 majors. They're architecture, landscape architecture, urban studies, and sustainable environmental design. So on the right bottom of the screen, you'll see this is the Boer-Worcester Hall. So the building style of brutalism gives people a sense of finish unfinished, which allows students to imagine and define their own spatial experiences and modes of self-expression at the same time, while also preserving our environmental protections. And students get their own studio space in Boer-Worcester Hall for all 4 years, plus access to the environmental design library. And you can see on the screen, there is the student project as well as this lab that students can work on it. And now we'll start talking about the College of Chemistry, and I'll pass back on to Sebastian.
All right, thank you so much. As Joanna said, we're going to go ahead and talk about the College of Chemistry. This is a college that has about 1,000 students, and there are 3 majors in it: chemistry, chemical engineering, and chemical biology. I do want to note that chemical engineering is our only engineering degree outside of the College of Engineering. This is because we are very, very heavy on chemistry. We are actually one of the only chemistry colleges in the nation, and we are very, very good at chemistry here at Cal, and that is because we have a very storied history with chemistry at Cal. For example, we discovered 16 of the elements on the periodic table, which is why you will see elements such as berkelium and californium, named after Berkeley and California, respectively, as a way to kind of honor our discovery of all of these elements. So some of these images that you might see are going to be some chemistry PhD research, along with Latimer Courtyard, which is part of our College of Chemistry's chemistry complex, and then also lab collaboration, because you can engage in a lot of collaboration with both students and faculty while you are here as a student at the College of Chemistry. Next up, I'll pass it back on to Joanna to go ahead and talk about engineering.
All right, thank you, Sebastian. We'll start talking about the College of Engineering, which is another founding college on campus. So now, College of Engineering holds 11 majors, including, I'll give some example, like electrical engineering and computer science, also called EECS, mechanical engineering, bioengineering, civil engineering, and aerospace engineering. The college is constantly named as one of the premier engineering schools in the world, ranking in the top three nationally for undergraduate and graduate programs and 11th globally overall. So among its active and emeriti faculty are 79 National Academy of Engineering members and six recipients of the Turing Award, considered the Nobel Prize of Computer Science. So you'll find iconic spaces like McLaughlin Hall on the slides and Jacobs Hall, which serve as our dedicated hub for design and innovation. And also, we have fantastic hands-on opportunities like the T-Prep Design Challenge, where you can put engineering principles into practice right away. All right, and now we'll talk about our last undergraduate college, and I'll pass back to Sebastian.
Thank you so much, Joanna. Our final undergraduate college is going to be the College of Computing, Data Science, and Society, also known as CDSS. This is our first new college in Berkeley in over 50 years. There are three majors in total: computer science, data science, and statistics. These were such popular majors in the College of Letters and Science that we had to move them to their own brand new college. The new Gateway building will be completed in fall 2026. That is where the College of CDSS is going to be located. It actually just opened for students to kind of check it out recently. I think on Friday I watched in there. It was super, super nice. Very, very cool. Highly recommend checking it out if you are in the area. We have many opportunities to work in computer science here at Cal, including the CS Kickstart program and many other opportunities. And you can see right at the bottom right, that is going to be our Data 8 lecture in Wheeler Hall, which is the biggest lecture that we have here on campus in our biggest lecture hall on campus as well. So if you're looking to take a very large class, you can go ahead and take that one, Data 8 in Wheeler Hall. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Joanna to talk a little bit more about some of our graduate schools now.
Yeah, so one of the graduate school that I want to mention is the Haas School of Business, and they also have the undergraduate pathways. So high school seniors can apply directly to the Speaker Undergraduate Business Program. It is a full year degree, or the Global Managed Program. It is also called GMP. There's also MET, which stands for Management, Entrepreneurship, and Technology, which combines business and engineering into one simultaneous degree. For a continuing student, whether you wanted to transfer from another school, another college in Berkeley, or you are transferring from outside of Berkeley, you can apply to a 2-year business major pathway. We also have LSBE, which is in earning a business and a biology degree in your undergraduate pathway, and students can apply to this program after their second year of study.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and talk about some more of our graduate schools. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and launch a poll asking you, what are you interested in studying here at UC Berkeley? Because we've gone over many of our different colleges now, and so we want to know what you guys are here to learn about. But we do have 9 graduate schools in total, including the Haas School of Business, which we just talked about, the Berkeley School of Education, which is where you can get your educational undergraduate degree in educational sciences if you are looking to get an undergraduate educational degree. And then we also have other schools that just have graduate degrees, like the Berkeley School of Information, Berkeley Law, the Social Welfare School, the Herbert Wertheim School of Optometry and Vision Sciences, the Berkeley Journalism School, the Berkeley School of Public Health, and the Berkeley School of Public Policy. We also want to note that all of the undergraduate colleges that we mentioned earlier do offer graduate degrees. So if you're looking to maybe get a graduate degree in master's in architecture, you can get your graduate degree at the CED, the College of Environmental Design. Pictured on the right are going to be some of our graduate schools, like the Herbert Wertheim School of Optometry and Vision Science or Berkeley Law. The School of Information is going to be located in South Hall, which I mentioned earlier as one of our oldest builds, actually our oldest building on campus. And then we also have the Berkeley School of Education in the bottom left. Next up, I'm going to pass it over to Joanna to go ahead and talk about housing and dining. Before we do that, I'm going going to go ahead and go over the poll results. So it seems like we have quite a few people interested in the social sciences. I'm right there with you with my psychology major. We also have a few business students, quite a few physical sciences like math, CS, data science, and also some chemistry and engineering and biological sciences people here, which is really, really awesome. Those are great things to study here at UC Berkeley. Next up, we're going to go ahead and pass it over to Joanna to talk about our housing and dining.
Thank you, Sebastian. That is a very well introducing of our undergraduate schools. So to start off with the housing and dining, I want to give some facts. So 96% of our first year students live in university residence halls. You'll mainly find doubles and triples, but there's also suite style living where 2 to 4 rooms will share a bathroom. And we also have theme programmed housing built around specific identities and communities. So students can live somewhere that reflects who they are, whether that's a Latinx identifying community or gender inclusive unity floors for LGBTQ students. So first year will get 2 year guaranteed housing and transfer students will get 1 year guaranteed housing as long as you submit your application on time and make sure your last option on the application form is any room size, any location to show the university that you have the flexibility. And a meal plan is included automatically if you live in the residence halls. So for transfer and continuing students, there's a lot more variety. Either there's Helen Diller Anchor House, our transfer and re-entry student apartment building, or university apartments, campus affiliated housing, private off-campus housing, or even Greek housing. And now we have about 12% of students are involved in Greek life here. So one thing to know, on-campus apartment don't come with a meal plan automatically, so you'd purchase that separately, but there's also an off-campus meal plan available if you want one. If you want a fuller look, there's a virtual UC Berkeley housing tour you can check out on our housing website since we don't offer in-person housing tours. So on the slides, you'll see on the left top of the screen, it is one of our unit. It is the outlook of the building. On the right top of the screen, it is the Clark Kerr campus. It is a dining hall for Clark Kerr. It looks like a Harry Potter style building, which is super cool. And on the left bottom of the slide, it is one of the room, it showcased the inner area of the room, and I believe it is a triple. And on the right bottom of the screen, it is the bowl hall, which is another student residence, but you do have to apply separately. All right, so that's pretty much about our housing and dining. And now pass back to Sebastian to talk about our health and safety.
Wonderful job. I want to go ahead and shout out Unit 1, in my opinion, the best unit, but I am biased because that's where I lived last year. Next up, we're going to go ahead and talk about our health and safety. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and post a poll asking where you guys are joining us from. So if you can go ahead and answer that poll while I cover this slide. And then by the end of the slide, I can have some things to talk about where you are coming from. So next up, we're going to go ahead and talk about, like I said, our health and safety, specifically our physical and mental health. So first, I want to talk about our student health insurance plan because if you are enrolled in Berkeley, you are automatically signed up for our student health insurance plan, which you are able to waive if you do have health insurance that will cover you out here. But even if you do not have a student health insurance plan, if you are on your own personal insurance plan or if you are on the student health insurance plan, you are able to get many health services on campus completely for free as a student, including urgent care, primary care, pharmacy, and referrals, things like that, including things like counseling and psychological services, also known as CAPS. If you are interested in getting maybe some advice after a breakup or you are going through a stressful time because you have a test coming up, you can go ahead and talk to an esteemed counselor in our counseling and psychological services team. We also have the Path to Care Center to go ahead and help you if you do have any trauma regarding any sexual assault or things like that. If you are worried about that, we have the Path to Care Center to help you. And we also have our Optometry Eye Center as part of our Herbert Wartime School of Optometry and Vision Sciences. So that's going to be grad students and professors getting you that eye care that you need very professionally, and they will all be there to support you, again, completely for free. And we also have things for stress relief. So we have Pause for Mental Health, which is where we will bring different animals on campus, like dogs, to go ahead and give you that stress relief of having having a nice cute animal there. And then my personal favorite event of the year, we also have Llama-palooza. Basically, before or during finals, our mental health services will bring llamas onto the glade for people to go ahead and pet and hug as a way to get much needed stress relief during final season. Highly, highly recommend doing it. It is absolutely wonderful. All right, we're going to go ahead and look at our poll responses. It seems like we have quite a few NorCal people as well as SoCal people, but many, many, many people, most of us are joining from a state in the Eastern time zone. So hello, thank you so much for joining us. It's a little bit later over there. Hope that you're having a good dinner or pre-dinner time, whatever it is ultimately that you are doing right now at about 6:24. Next up, we're going to go ahead and pass it back on to Joanna to go ahead and talk about our safety services.
Thank you, Sebastian. And now we'll be talking about our campus safety. So the first thing we have is our own UCPD, which is called University of California, the Police Department, which works alongside the City of Berkeley Police. They're located in the basement of Sproul Hall. Across campus, there are roughly 100 blue and light poles. Push the button and UCPD reaches you within about 5 minutes. There's also Warn Me, our text and email alert system for students, parents, and guardians. You can subscribe your family to. So if anything happens on campus, everyone stays informed in real time. Usually they will notify you if there is a chemical leakage or earthquake happening, and once the area is clear, they will also send out a message again. If you're ever walking home late and don't want to go alone, there is Safe Walk, or we usually call it Bear Walk. It is a free service where community service officers walk with you from point A to point B. I remember at the starting of my freshman year, I attend some like club info session until 10 p.m. on the south side of campus, but at that time I live on the north side, so I just book one on my phone and wait for radio equipped and trained student grab me, and on the way we chat with each other, and it is not awkward at all. So now whenever I stay in Doe after midnight, I always call Safe Walk to walk me back home, and students can be trained to become employees. There is a limited area, but most off-campus students can still use it to walk them back home. And also, surprisingly, they work 365 days a year. And at night, the Bear Transit runs two dedicated night safety shuttles from dusk until around 2:30 a.m., 365 days a year, which also stops at downtown Berkeley, so you can reach BART too. And after 2:30 a.m., they turn into a private ride like the Uber you usually use, and they will make sure they send you back home safely. And that's our different kind of safety services that provides by UC Berkeley. And now we'll step on into the student resources, and I'll pass back to Sebastian.
Thank you so much, Joanna. We have many student resources here on campus. We have many revolving around identity and community here on campus. So we have our Centers for Educational Justice and Community Engagement, also known as our EJCEs. So that is if you are in a minority group and are looking to get some support regarding your identity and having your college experience on campus, you can contact one of our EJCEs in order to do so. We also have the Associated Students of the University of California, also known as ASUC. That is going to be our student government. One really cool thing about ASUC is that they are a completely independent group from the University of California. So students have a lot of say in how we do things like our clubs here on campus. We also have the Transfer Student Center. If we do have any transfer students who are interested in getting support here at UC Berkeley, you can get your support at the Transfer Student Center. We also have many resources for undocumented students. So if you're ever struggling with your undocumented status as a student at UC Berkeley, we have many resources here to support you. We also have many support and equity programs, for example, the Disabled Students Program, or DSP. If you have a physical disability or mental disability, you are able to get support through the DSP to maybe get you a ride around campus if you have a little bit of trouble going up those hills, or if you need a little bit of extra time on some projects because you have maybe executive dysfunction issues, we can get you those things through the Disabled Students Program. We also have the Basic Needs Center, so if you're ever struggling for basic needs like maybe some toothbrush or toothpaste, or you need some clothing, we can get you those things at the Basic Needs Center. We have many, many other support systems here, student resources things. We have re-entry support. We have the Student Center that is located right underneath my favorite place to eat on campus, the Golden Bear Cafe. Whatever it is you need support with here at UC Berkeley, we've got you covered. With that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on back over to Joanna to go ahead and talk about student.
All right, so I'll be talking about student life. So there's so much going on here. We've got over 1,000 registered student organization, from pre-professional clubs like consulting club, business clubs, to pre-med, pre-health, to culture clubs. Different culture have their own clubs, or even sports club, or even clubs that just for fun. And they'll table in the orientation week and also the first week of each semester. From there, you can learn more about the organization either through the flyer or through their info session, and you can choose to work with them during the semester or not. And I think you can join in as many clubs as you want to. And what I think is that club is a great way to find new friends and meet people outside of your dorm and classes, since you guys share the same interests and you'll have more common topic to talk about. We also have a huge amount of volunteering. A lot of students get involved through the public service center or programs like alternative breaks, where students spend spring break doing service projects. For work, there's campus employment through Berkeley Career Engagement. So their office located on the south side of the campus, which also offers free headshots, resume help, and career counseling, genuinely useful even outside of finding an on-campus job. We do have Handshake, a third-party website for you to find job, as well as LinkedIn workshops. Because we're so close to San Francisco and Silicon Valley, internship access is a huge advantage here. A lot of students also study abroad during their time at Cal, whether it's through the semester or through the summer vacation. And here are tons of program opening all year round through the UCEAP program. And once you apply, you get to do internship or take courses all over the world. And there's endless Bay Area exploration too. Every student get their free AC transit card, or you say Clipper card, so you can hop on buses and BART, which connect the Bay Area. And if you wanted to watch a movie, Emeryville has AMC, which is 20-minute bus ride from campus. And if you wanted to explore SF, Golden Gate Bridge, or anything, we are a 30-minute BART ride to SF. And that's pretty much what we do during the weekend or even a short term of vacation. And now I'll pass back to Sebastian to talk about our athletics.
Wonderful. We do have many, many athletics here at UC Berkeley. We also have multiple levels of our athletics. So many of our sports offer Division One sports, which basically means you are playing a sport at a professional level. For example, if you were to turn on ESPN and look up some college football, those would be Division One levels of sports. We also have club sports. If you're like, I really want to play this sport and I want to still have a coach, I want to have tryouts, I want to be competing against other schools, but I don't really want to be playing at that super professional level. We've got club sports for you. And then if you're someone who really doesn't care about that competition aspect, you're just wanting to play soccer or basketball or badminton just kind of for fun, we've got many intramural or recreational sports for you to just play against other UC Berkeley students in a much more casual setting. We also have our California Memorial Stadium, which is our football stadium. It was designed by John Galen Howard, who was actually a graduate from the College of Environmental Design. He designed many of the buildings on UC Berkeley campus. It hosts about 63,000 seats in it, and I would recommend checking out one of our game days. We have football games there, of course. We also have many other games that are not specifically for UC Berkeley. I remember when I was getting trained, there was a celebrity flag football event happening in the stadium. So there's plenty of events that happen there, plenty of opportunities for you to go ahead and check out the stadium. It's super cool. We also have the Haas Pavilion for many of our indoor sports. So if you're interested in playing something like basketball or volleyball or joining a gymnastics team, you will be playing in the Haas Pavilion. It's a super nice arena as well. I believe that is open to the public, so I would recommend checking that out if you would like. We also have the RSF, or our recreational sports facility. That's a fancy way of saying it's our gym. It's where you can go to get your personal health in check and do a little bit of a workout. We've got weight rooms, we've got cardio machines, basketball courts, rock climbing walls, and most importantly to me personally, there are rooms with floor-to-ceiling mirrors, wall-to-wall that you can practice your dancing in. You can join many dance clubs or dance classes as well if you are interested in getting your dance experience on. I'm going to go ahead and move on from dance. I could talk about dance for a very long time. We are a very celebrated school when it comes to Olympic medals as well. We have 246 Olympic medals in total. If Cal was its own country, we would be fourth in the world for most Olympic medals. That is all from me for athletics. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back on to Joanna to go ahead and talk about our libraries and research.
All right, thank you, Sebastian. To talk about libraries and research, I think this is a topic that a lot of students concerned about or is passionate about. Since the why we're in the university is because we want to earn a degree as well as learn new things. So if you look over the slides on the top left corner is our Doe Library, which is our main library. So outside of Doe Library, we also have over 20 libraries on campus and more than 50 million volumes, so you'll never run out of space to study. So as I mentioned, the main one is called the Doe Library. It has a north reading room and a south reading room, and I genuinely think it looks like something out of Hogwarts. They do open 22 hours a day, whether you wanted to do research or just studying. This is a great place to prep for exams. And another fun fact about the Doe Library is that they have a statue of the god of Athena on the gate. And if you look at her eyes when you're stepping in, people said that she will give you all the wisdom she had. But if you walk back or like not looking at her eyes, then she will retrieve all the wisdom back because she is the god of wisdom. And also we have Moffat Library. It is a newly renovated library and it will reopen starting 2026 fall. It has 4 floors and it is very modern, open 24 hours, and there's sofa everywhere inside. And since it allows students to speak inside, so it's a great place for you to bring snacks and drinks and really lock in to study with your friends. So speaking of research, one program we have here is called URAP, Undergraduate Research Apprenticeship Program. So the program opens every single semester and you can apply up to 3 labs each semester. And once you get in, you work with either PhD student or the professor. And also junior and senior students here at UC Berkeley can apply to SURF, called Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship. So you'll work on your research during the summer with a grant from the university. We also have the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory, which is located 200 arcs above the campus. You can also apply and become a research assistant in the laboratory. So plus we have countless department-specific opportunities. You don't even have to be major in a department to do research there, and it's genuinely one of the most accessible parts of being a student here. And that's pretty much about our libraries and research, and I'll pass back on to Sebastian to talk about our famous alumni and professors.
Thank you so much, Joanna. We have many, many famous alumni and professors here. So we do have Stephen Chu, who was a graduate of the class of 1976. He was a former U.S. Secretary of Energy, so we have many opportunities to get professional jobs in the US government. If you were interested in doing that, that's always an option by graduating from UC Berkeley. We, of course, have Jennifer Doudna, who won the 2025 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for her invention of the gene editing software CRISPR, which is super cool to have her on campus. You can literally go ahead and study gene editing with the woman who invented it. Super, super awesome. We also have Beverly Cleary from the class of 1938. She is a famed children's book author from things like Ramona and Quimby. So if you've ever read those books, she is a UC Berkeley graduate as well. We, of course, have Chris Pine, a graduate from the class of '02. He is a famous actor. You might recognize him from Star Trek or Wonder Woman or just being a celebrity. We also have Janisa Adams Ginyard from the class of '05. She is a famous actress and stunt woman. She was Dora Milaje in Black Panther. So if you've ever watched Black Panther, you might recognize her from that. We also have Stephen Wozniak, the graduate of the class of 1986. He was a co-founder of Apple Incorporated. So if you ever use an Apple product, which you probably have, you might recognize that name and recognize him. He was a graduate of UC Berkeley. And then we also have Alex Morgan, Morgan, who was from the class of 2014. She is a Women's World Cup winner. So if you're a soccer fan, or specifically a women's soccer fan, you might recognize her and recognize her name. We have many, many famous graduates and alumni here. So if you want to join those ranks, become one of our Nobel Prize winning professors, which we have 28 of in total, I would recommend coming here, getting a wonderful education, and then pursuing your dreams and getting that Nobel Prize that I know you can get. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off over to Joanna for our final slide on campus highlights.
All right, thank you, Sebastian. And to talk about our campus highlights, I wanted you guys to look at the different pictures and videos that showcase on our slides. So Berkeley has a real nature side, apart from the heavy academics. So there are fire trails for hiking, Strawberry Creek running through campus, or real hills, and a surprising amount of wildlife for city campus, which is squirrels. On the left top of the slides, we have squirrels everywhere. Wildowski is our official mascot. The squirrels are unofficial ones. They're incredibly bold and have become a beloved part of daily life, and they're so iconic that they even have their own dedicated Instagram accounts. They're a fun, lighthearted reminder that despite being a premier research university, we're still a living, breathing nature campus. And one of the most distinctive parts of the campus landscape I would mention is the eucalyptus grove. It's located near the West Circle and Life Science Building. It is towering, fragrant woodland that feels like you've stepped into a completely different environment. If you can see, it is the two picture at the bottom of the slides. And a short walk or bus ride away is the bustling urban atmosphere of downtown Berkeley, the Berkeley Marina, and direct access to San Francisco and Silicon Valley via BART, giving students the best of both worlds, nature and city life. This is another reason why I choose Berkeley, because we're located in a place full of nature. Like we can see the Bay Area, we have the fire trails, we can do hiking, we can go to the marina, but we're also having a very easy access to the bustling city, San Francisco, and also the most innovative place in the world, the Silicon Valley. So I think Berkeley is a place you really have to experience to believe, whether you're looking to hike, the fire trail, or grab a coffee near Strawberry Creek. We can't wait to welcome you to campus to see it all for yourself.
I wanted to also hop in here and talk a little bit more about campus highlights, maybe just because I'm a Bay Area native and I like talking about the Bay Area. But I wanted to talk about some outside of campus highlights also. So if you are interested in doing some astronomy research or for things like that, for example, we do have the Chabot Space and Science Center, which is located very, very close to UC Berkeley in the Oakland Hills. I would recommend checking that out if you are a fan of aerospace engineering or anything like that. I actually had my high school prom there. It was a really, really fun kind of experience to have. And then also, Joanna mentioned earlier that we have our Bay Transit or Bay Pass system to get us around the Bay Area through both BART and also many other things like our bus systems. I would just like to shout this out simply because we are such a large campus connected to so many different areas of the Bay Area. So I would once again like to shout out that you can use BART, which is basically our version of the subway, to get to San Francisco and talk to a bunch of different new people, meet a bunch of different new people, go to many, many cool places. For example, you can go to the California Academy of Sciences. That is a wonderful science museum that I would recommend checking out if you are ever in the Bay Area. You can also do some research with them, I believe, through our URAP program or many of our other research programs. There's just so many cool things that you can do in the Bay Area that I would recommend doing. So if you do come to UC Berkeley, make sure to engage with all of the opportunities that you have, explore the campus, explore the entire Bay Area, and then we will be absolutely happy to have you here as a student. With that, we're going to be at about the end of our tour, so I will go ahead and pass it on back to our host, Izzy.
Awesome. What an amazing tour, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and stop sharing our slides just for a minute as we get into our Q&A session. But yeah, absolutely amazing tour. I learned so much. I feel like every time I do a virtual tour, I'm always learning so much from our guides. Alrighty, so my questions I have today, and some questions I saw in the chat too. We're gonna start off with the first one. What's your favorite class or assignment that you've had here at UC Berkeley? I'll let y'all think about that. And then whoever wants to jump in, okay, jump in first.
I'll go ahead and jump in first. I do want to go ahead and just shout out my theater classes because it's wonderful to be a theater student here at UC Berkeley, even though we're not necessarily known for theater. However, I feel like that's cheating a little bit. So I'm actually going to go ahead and talk a little bit about a different class that I took. I really wanted to get into a specific English class when I was in my last semester. I really wanted to get into this theater English class where we would write a little thing about we would kind of make our own newspaper. However, I actually didn't end up getting into that class, but instead I enrolled in a different English class that was about different areas of the world that are experiencing many different problems like genocide. And it was a really insightful and amazing class that I absolutely loved. My professor, I'm very, very close to him. He's super wonderful. We also got to go on a field trip to San Francisco to go to the AIDS Grove in Golden Gate Park. I absolutely love that class. And I just wanted to use that as an example that even if you, worst case, don't get into the exact class that you really want, you will sometimes find your absolute brand new favorite class.
That's a really interesting class, Sebastian. I wanted to mention one of my cognitive science operative class that I took last semester. It was called IEOR 170. I believe if you're also interested in design engineering, I would definitely encourage you to take one. So in that class, we have to do a research and also we have to help a certain kind of people and come out with a prototype to present to the class. So the whole semester was about defining the problem and defining the topic, as well as go to interview the people and see what is the problem that they're facing and everything they need, and also come up with a prototype to share with the class. So what we did is we went to SF to interview the people who is from the Dandelion Chocolate Factory. They were doing chocolate craft making, and we learned a lot from the interviewer people that they talk about how stressful it was, like doing the little part when they're doing chocolate design. And also, me and my teammate went to different shops to kind of buy the right kind of material. And I also remember I went to my one of my teammates' home just for melting the chocolate, which we wanted to try out whether our prototype really does make sense or not. And I think one, I utilized the resource of using the public transportation, which is the Clipper card that I can hop on the BART at any time for free, definitely. And also, secondly, is that we have such amazing class that not only focusing on all the textbook, but also doing real experiment and to dive in of real world circumstances. So I think sometimes the result doesn't really matter, but what it matters is that how you learn through making those new experiments.
Well, that's a really cool class. Y'all are taking some awesome classes, not gonna lie. I would say for myself, I am a media studies major. And honestly, all my media study classes have been really, really fun for me. One in particular is my media and globalization class that I just took last spring semester. And it's absolutely so fun. I definitely feel like I walked away with a lot of different like knowledge and terminology to continue to use and like as I'm consuming media, I'm knowing what to look for now, which has been really nice. I'm currently studying abroad in South Korea right now. So South Korea media. I like K-pop, if that didn't make sense. Just being in my classes here at Yonsei University as well has been really, really cool. Kind of just apply the information that I learned from UC Berkeley and apply it to like my K-pop classes here. It's been like awesome. But I would say one specific assignment I had was actually in my like pop culture class, which I believe is under sociology. And one, the professor was amazing. She was so sweet. But one of my favorite parts about the class was like the essays we got to write. So one of my essays, I ended up writing it on like parasocial relationships K-pop fans can have. And especially about like BTS and like Jungkook as well. So I thought that was a really, really fun assignment. And I got a good grade on that. So it also made me really happy. But yeah, so that is definitely, as you guys can see, a lot of diverse kind of like interests and things you can really do here at Cal. And that's like not even the tip of the iceberg. So there's so much to do. My next question is actually from our crowd today, our visitors. And the question is, Actually, I forgot. Oh, what's your favorite part about campus? What's your favorite part about campus? This could either be a club you're a part of or a space you really like on campus, maybe an experience you have. But what's your favorite part about campus? Who wants to
I
go
can
first?
yeah, I can also take this one. I kind of have two separate answers for this because when I think of my favorite part about campus, what actually jumps out to me is like a specific location on campus, that being the Valley Life Science Building. I love the Valley Life Science Building. I think it is the most beautiful building on campus, and because I'm a massive nerd, surprise, I'm at UC Berkeley. I love that there's so many different natural history museums in the Valley Life Science Building. I absolutely love walking in there, learning more about different things and all these vast different areas of information. And that actually kind of leads me into my second part of this question, which is my like favorite aspect of UC Berkeley. And that is that there is just, it is such a wealth of information that is present here on campus. There's so many absolutely genius people studying so many different things that I feel like I can just walk somewhere on campus, talk to someone that I've never talked to before, and then learn about an entire new subject. I'm looking forward to my senior year when I have more time in my schedule to maybe take some random elective courses and take extremely cool courses on things that I never thought I would study before because I've never really had experience with it. But here at UC Berkeley, because there are so many different types of people doing so many different types of cool things, you really do have so many different opportunities that you can and should take. And I absolutely love that aspect of campus.
All right, so I also wanted to share some part that I love. So first of all, I mentioned that I do artistic swimming, so definitely the swimming pool in RSF is a place that helped me for so many nights. For example, like last semester, we were doing the national collegiate championship, so we trained a lot during the night. And I remember I have to get off class at like 6 p.m. and run straight toward the swimming pool. And it was like March and April, so it did rains a lot. So, and also all the swimming pool here at California are outside. So basically, there's a lot of things happening at the same time, but because I'm surrounded by a group of teammates and also people who also love artistic swimming, so I never felt cold or I never felt so isolated. And it's a great place that I spend a lot of time there. And the second place I want to mention is definitely the Doe Library. So everyone loves to go into Doe Library to study or just to kind of take a rest in between classes because it is right in the center of the campus. So you have to pass through Doe Library whenever which way you wanted to go. So that's a great place. And also, the library has different parts. So on the top, it has two reading room that you can lock in and really see what other people are doing. And once you see other people are really locked in, you get motivated as well. But also we do have the area that can talk, which you can study as a study group. You can meet your peers in your class or do project together. And also we have main Gartner stack, the library that is 4 floor underneath the ground. And it is also our largest library. And also it is a place that students choose a lot when they're in the dead week or our week right before final. And also since I spent, I think, half of my freshman year in there, so I would definitely say Doe Library. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I would say for myself, favorite part specifically on campus is definitely kind of adding to Joanna, but all the niche little study aspects or niche little study areas you can find on campus. I know like my friends and I, for some reason, they'll just be like, hey, meet me here. And then it's like a whole new building that I didn't even know I could study in. And it's always been really nice just to find those little pockets, and those like hidden spaces, which always makes me really happy to add something new to my study list kind of location area. And one of my biggest goals before I graduate is to study in all 20 plus of our libraries. I've gotten like 11 or 12, but I also graduate this year, so I need to lock in and get all of them before I leave. So that's also some spaces I really like. Other than that, I also really love like our African American community spaces on campus. The African American student body is pretty small, niche community, or small community, but it's really tight knit. There's always something happening. I lived in the African American themed program for my freshman year, and I've been the resident assistant for it for the last 2 years. So just being able able to like come home to that each day and like help foster the continuing generation of African American students. Navigating UC Berkeley has been one of my biggest prides on campus. And other than that, just being in different clubs based for African American students and learning more about the history of how we've navigated UC Berkeley has always made my heart really happy. So yeah, I would say that's another space that I really, really enjoy on campus. And then my last question for y'all, in a couple words, what's something you would tell your first freshman year self? What's a piece of advice? What's a something you learned? For some of us, I know that was like yesterday, but as you're thinking over your first summer as a high school student or as a college student, what's something, yeah, you would tell yourself? Maybe it's even back in the application season. But yeah, who wants to hop in first? Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and take this one because I am very close to my first semester. I feel like I'm not far enough removed to talk to that person, but I will give some piece of advice for my applying self. And this is something that I talked about on my in-person tours as well. But I was really stressed about getting into UC Berkeley because I've always wanted to go here. This has been my top school since I was like 5. And I've always really wanted to go here. And I put a lot of pressure on myself and a lot of stress on myself to get into the best classes and get the best grades, which ultimately didn't actually happen in high school. I had some extenuating circumstances that led to some lower grades than I wanted. And I spent a lot of my senior year really stressed and really worried about getting into Berkeley and feeling like maybe I wasn't worthy of getting into Berkeley, or that if I didn't, then maybe I was a failure. And I had a really important conversation with my mom like the night before my application did come back, where we basically discussed how ultimately, even if I don't get into UC Berkeley, there's still so much value that I can offer this world aside from just being a student at this one specific college. And I like to give that advice to other people as well as just myself, because it kind of we take a lot of that time to be stressing when we should be taking a little bit of time to just enjoy high school, because you probably only are in high school once unless there's some weird situations going on there. But I just want to remind everyone, including my past self, that you can just take that time, chill out, and ultimately, if you don't get in, that's totally okay as well. But I do want to acknowledge that I'm speaking from a position of privilege because I did get in, so I acknowledge that. But I still think the message is important, and that is the advice I would give to my younger self.
All right, so Sebastian, talk about younger self. Okay, I'll talk about like when you grow later. I will talk about maybe when you are stepping into Berkeley or you are stepping into the college in your first couple of weeks. So I would say probably stop waiting until you feel ready to put yourself out there. So my first week I was so stressful. I can't even like talk with the people who is in my same orientation group since I'm just so stressful. I don't know like what it's like in the university or just going to a larger group of people. And I remember the first time I stepped in a club info session. It was like the second day of the school year, and everyone in that club dressed in a business professional, and I get so intimidated at first. But after talking to them, I learned that everyone like actually grew from the same point. They feel the same when they were in their first year of freshman year. So I think at that time I opened myself more and to just like talk to random people and join the groups that I wanted to join. So I believe like comfort actually came from getting involved, but not like waiting there and or like you won't get the comfort before getting in. So I tell someone or myself to be a lot kinder about the learning curve, whether that was like adjusting to a new country or just anything, a new schedule or just harder classes. Everyone around you is like actually figuring out in real time too, even it doesn't look the way from the outside. So I would say just be brave and don't hesitate to do anything.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes, I agree with both of them. And I would say going into my senior year, I keep saying that. It's so shocking every time I say that. But going into my senior year, some advice I would give my freshman year self, definitely for someone who feels like on the more ambitious side, like you feel like you have to do everything. Sometimes you don't. I think what I would tell my freshman year self is knowing it's okay to say no to things and not like being afraid of like fear of missing out. Like, don't be afraid of FOMO. Things come back to you and new doors open for you constantly. So just take it at your own pace. Everyone has their own paces, and try not to compare yourself to others. Just do what you want to do. And like kind of adding on to Joanna, but don't be afraid to do that. Go out there, do what you want, but also if you end up putting a lot on your plate, realizing it's okay to take things off your plate and put it for next semester. Because one thing I didn't know about before coming to UC Berkeley is each semester can look completely different for you. Clubs and organizations, either some of them you can be in there for all 4 years, but others you only can do it. You can just do it for the semester and then change things each semester. So like one semester, I would say I had more of a business oriented semester, a dance oriented semester, a music oriented semester, and things like that. So each semester can look different, especially for someone with many different hobbies and passions. So don't be afraid about that. Alrighty, so those are all of our questions. I hope that Q&A session was really great for you on the visitor side. We're going to go ahead and reshare our presentation. I'm going to go ahead and close us out for today. So we have a couple of slides. We have one slide just on some ways to stay in contact with us. So as that is coming up, you can go ahead and stay in contact with us via our Instagram and our Facebook, which is at Visit UC Berkeley. We didn't get to answer your questions today, but I think our back end people were doing a really amazing job. But if you still have any questions, feel free to email us at tour@berkeley.edu, and a student ambassador will answer your question on the back end. We also have our Bear Talk blog, which has a lot of different other student perspectives from our campus ambassador. So you can definitely go see their other perspectives and experiences on our campus. And then all of our recorded virtual visits are available on our YouTube channel at Visit UC Berkeley. So if you missed anything today, and you I want to go back to it, you can definitely check it out there. On the right-hand side, you can scan that QR code for in-person campus tours. If you ever make it out to Berkeley, we definitely would love to give you a tour in person as well. And then on the left-hand side, you can scan that for admissions presentations, so you can learn more about admissions and financial aid and all that good information. With that being said, we're going to go to our last slide. As we go to our last slide, we're going to do a big Go Bears on three. Wherever you are with your family, feel free to do a Go Bears if you're in the car, if you're at home. If it's like 12 a.m., do a mini one as well. But me and the tour guides are going to come off mute, and on the count of three, we're going to do Go Bears and wrap it up. All right, three, two, one. Go
Oh,
Bears!
Bears!
All right, y'all have a great day. Bye.